Hello, everyone. My name is Srishti and I am a digital transformation consultant at Hyperbots. Today, I'm delighted to have Dave Sackett as my guest. Thank you so much for taking out the time, Dave.
Yeah, thanks, Srishti.
So, a little bit about Dave for our viewers. He is the VP of Finance at Persimmon Technologies. And today, we will be discussing Massachusetts sales tax system. So, whenever that you're ready, Dave, we can get started.
Okay, sounds good. I'm ready.
All right, to start with, could you explain how Massachusetts sales tax system stands out, especially in terms of the rates and the products that are taxable?
Sure. Massachusetts has statewide sales tax rate of 6.25% on most goods and services. This is relatively straightforward, but there are some exceptions. For example, there's tangible personal property that's taxable, while food and clothing are generally exempt. Prepared food, like meals in restaurants and hot food sold in grocery stores, is taxable, and it's important for businesses to understand these distinctions to avoid errors when they file for their taxes.
That's helpful. Speaking of exemptions, could you provide some specific examples of goods or services that are exempt from sales tax in Massachusetts?
Yeah, sure. Certain goods and services are exempt from sales tax, including clothing, most food items, and prescription drugs. For example, if you buy a pair of jeans or a sweater, it won't be taxed. However, if you dine at a restaurant or buy food outside, that is taxed at the 6.25% rate. And another example is prescription medications. These are exempt, but over-the-counter drugs, vitamins, cold medicines, that's you'll be paying tax on that.
That sounds like businesses, really need to stay on top of the details to remain compliant. So, what challenges do businesses face in handling sales tax with these exemptions and different rates, especially those with multiple locations?
Yeah, there is complexity applying the correct tax rates, especially when dealing with exemptions. It's one of the biggest challenges you have to know, is it taxable, is it not? Businesses that operate across municipalities also face additional complications since some localities impose their own taxes on top of the state rate. So tracking which items are taxable or exempt requires a system of accounts to keep track of these different nuances. Differentiating between grocery store food and prepared meals, for example. A grocery store might sell both a cold salad, which is exempt, but a hot meal, which is taxable. And distinguishing between these two, for every transaction, you'd need a tool.
I see. How frequently do Massachusetts sales tax rates or exemptions change? And what strategies do businesses use to keep up with these updates?
Massachusetts generally has a stable tax rate, but exemptions can change. It's politically driven in some cases, and there are occasional updates to the regulations. So, for example, changes can occur in the types of food or services that are exempt from sales tax. Companies need to monitor updates from the Massachusetts Department of Revenue to ensure compliance with any changing in the laws. Having an automated system that can track these changes and apply them across transactions is a super helpful tool. For example, if a state changes its policy on sales tax exemption for certain food items, businesses would need to update their point of sale system immediately to reflect that change to make sure they're collecting the right amount of tax.
Understood. And in your experience, how can AI and automation help businesses maintain compliance with Massachusetts sales tax rules?
Yeah, AI and automation can play a huge role in improving the efficiency and accuracy in tracking sales tax. AI can automatically determine the correct tax rate for transactions based on the customer's location, the product type, whether it's taxable or exempt. There are AI tools to keep track of regulatory changes, ensuring business is that they update whenever that tax rate exemption rule changes. So if Massachusetts were to modify the taxability of certain digital products, AI could update the system instantly to reflect the new rule, ensuring that businesses don't miss it.
Understood. Can you share a specific example of how AI has helped a business navigate Massachusetts sales tax rules?
Yes, a company that sells both tangible goods and prepared food had issues with ensuring the correct sales tax was applied at checkout, especially when operating in multiple regions. With AI automation, the system is now automatically classifying food items either as taxable or exempt based on the preparation method, hot versus cold, for example. A customer buying a cold sandwich from a deli would pay no tax, but the hot sandwich would be taxed. And with AI in the background as a tool, it made sure it was getting the correct tax each time. So AI does streamline this process, ensuring that accuracy in real time by helping to reduce the manual effort of workers trying to collect the tax properly.
That's an amazing example. Now, when businesses have to handle multiple exemptions or taxability rules, how can they streamline their processes to avoid errors?
To avoid errors, you would want to have the correct classifications and automated tracking of tax. AI can help by instantly classifying products at the point of sale, ensuring that correct tax rate is applied on each transaction. Businesses should also invest in systems that integrate directly with the state tax authority updates to stay informed about any changes. This can be done through an API, for example. If Massachusetts changes the definition of prepared food or makes new exemptions, the system should automatically be updated without a manual intervention by the finance team.
Understood. And this is really helpful. And that brings me to the last question. What advice would you offer to businesses that are finding it difficult to keep up with the sales tax rules in Massachusetts?
So my advice would be to implement a reliable sales tax automation solution that uses AI. These tools can handle complex calculations, track changes in regulations, and apply the right tax rate in every situation. Staying informed is critical, so combining automation with proactive approach to monitoring state regulations will reduce the risk of noncompliance. And also, there's always a strong relationship with your tax advisor to ensure that businesses stay on top of Massachusetts specific rules. And on the topic of sales tax, a lot of companies also have to apply that for use tax on things they buy and use in the business. So not only is it sales tax, but also Massachusetts use tax.
Understood. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise today. It has been really insightful. I'm sure our audience will find these tips really helpful. So that brings us to the end of our discussion. Thank you so much, Dave, for being a part of this.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to help.
Of course. Thank you so much. And to our viewers, we'll stay connected and see you next time. Bye bye. Have a good one.